Hi friends, I'm Teddy LaRose here at Food Mavericks 1000, and today we're going to tackle scones. It's my first time. I don't remember ever doing that before. That never stopped me before. Often you can feel like, oh no, kind of daunted by something you've never tried before, or like maybe even like insecure. Like, well, how does my sister get them to be so tasty? And like, I could never do that or something. That we can overcome. Okay, so what we got here, and I'm going to go into detail of how I overcame, well actually how I overcame it was research partly. I just looked at all the scone recipes I could find and compared them one to another and decided on one that sounded the smartest and the easiest, based on the experience I have had. So there's always some experience in there that you have had. And that's always like this wonderful platform to be experimental with. One of the secrets, and this is a secret, of scones and also puff pastry is frozen butter. I didn't know this before. This was something I learned, and it's really, really cool. So take the butter, put it in the freezer, and then grate it. Cold is your friend with scones. Frozen butter is your friend. So what I'm doing here, and I've let it sit out here a little long, we're going to grate this in here. See, it's starting to de-thaw. And once I get it grated, I'm going to put it back in the freezer and we'll get back to you. Okay, guys, the butter was starting to get too warm, so I just put it back in the freezer. Different people suggested different things. Grating was one thing, chunking was another thing. This has been in the freezer again, so it should stay intact. Now we've got the dry ingredients. If you want to learn how to make these types of things, we've got a course. This is a couple cups of flour, some salt, some baking powder, and a little cinnamon, actually. So all the dry stuff. Well, sugar, because we're going to have a little bit sweet. Then what you do next, which is fun bit, is you coat the butter. And this is going to be, this is where I was saying there are some things I know. It started looking familiar to me, like what you do with the pie crust. One way to make a pie crust to have it be flaky and all is you have the butter very cold and you don't overwork the dough. The same principle applies with scones. You don't overwork that. So the cold, you want to maintain the cold contrast here. I'm getting this in here as best I can, as you can see, sort of a mess. And then we're going to coat these guys. I'm not going to do too much manipulating with my warm hand here, because what you're trying to get is this in the oven. It does that. Now if there's large chunks in there, which there are, and you find them, I'd suggest smashing them in half like that. Not the end of the world, I would say, if we have a couple large chunks in there. So in future, I would not be talking while I grated the butter. There's a maverick thing. So I did that. Okay, now then, this is kind of classic. It's dry. So when you had a pie, you do the same thing with slightly different proportions of liquid. In this case, I made homemade buttermilk. Very easy to do. We've done it on our course. Easy. You put a little lemon juice in some milk and set it out at room temperature, and it'll curdle a little bit. And it makes a great buttermilk substitute. We will remember our egg here. And my milk separated out a little bit, kind of like cheese, the beginning of cheese. So I'm going ahead and whipping this. Okay, now a lot of people use like a pastry cutter for this thing. Make a little well in the middle. Dump your thing in like this. Now, one element of this, it's not tricky really, it's just if you get it warm, it'll be different in the end. Not over mixing. One might wonder why not over mixing. For one thing, you again want to maintain the separation of the butter, because that'll start being in layers in there in between the scone, inside the scones you've got flour and butter, lots of flake. But also if you overwork it, you're starting to develop the gluten as in bread, and instead of flaky you're going to get chewy. And this could have been one of the daunting elements that I had. Oh no, I don't know how to do that. Now we're going to dump a few adds in there. People put all kinds of stuff in these things. I've got some raisins, just a few. It'll go nicely with the cinnamon. And again, see, there's a bit of flour hanging around the sides. That'll be okay. No worries. Now then, with scones, which is probably why we never had them at our house, you need to roll them out. My mom was sort of, she liked other things. She didn't want to roll them out. So we're going to get this out of the thing. Just collect all the bits as you go along there. And you can see it's just sort of a blob, okay? It's beautiful. This is more than we'll need for one. This should be 2 scone balls. Now we're going to flip this for mixture. 1 in that direction, and then again. There we go. That's all I'm doing, guys. I'm not going to make a big knead the thing too much. Now if I want 2 of these guys instead of 1, I'm simply going to cut it in half-ish. And make a round. It's a little on the small side, but it's better than one giant one, I think, in this case. You're going to want it about 3/4 of an inch-ish thick. Got that? All right, then. Let's do them both for the sake of stickiness. Not stickiness. Okay, you see how little there is to do about this? But this is the whole point. It's like with this less of doing, at least potentially, we've got a lot of flaking. I'll let you know what Lynn says about this, Lynn's sister, who makes these. Okay, so now we're going to cut this thing. I preheated the oven. Always do that first if you are baking. Otherwise, well, you'll have to wait. And some things don't like to wait. This would have been not that happy waiting. Okay, about 6 pieces. We'll do like this. Then thirds like so. Ish. I'm sure even is better. Okay, there we are. Then we're going to pop them in at 425 for about 15 minutes. Now people have scrapers, those wonderful metal pastry scrapers. I had one when we were at conferences. I never really quite knew what they used them for. Now I see that they do this. We used to cut vegetables and scrape them off the thing with it. So, a big spatula will work fine. I'll do the other one and I'll let you know. Good, kind of cute. If you want them a little bit more organized. There we go. Okay, 15 minutes. Okay, my Mavericks, scones. Oh, I loved them. Okay, as I said, I don't recall that I ever made them. And I don't even really think I ever ate them. But I was just suddenly intrigued. What about scones?